there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, see, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. See that? Who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. And that proves that that was meat in that pottage that Jacob was storing, man. And that meat wasn't finished cooking, and that's why it was known as red pottage. And again, that's the scriptures highlighting the characteristics of Esau. To this very day, this man recommend his meat rare or medium rare at best. But most importantly, this is the scripture spotlighting, highlighting the impatience of Esau and this man's desire for instant satisfaction. See that? So when you go back here again, to the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter, and starting at the 30th verse, it says, and Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage. And again, this red pottage is not exclusively lentils. Now, you might have had lentils in the pottage, but it was also meat in it. And we read that in the book of Hebrews, the 12th chapter and the 16th verse, where Esau, being profane, sold his birthright for one morsel of meat. See? Again, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? Yeah, let's read this again. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die, and what profit shall this birthright do to me? And again, this is the scriptures highlighting one of the characteristics of Esau, and the fact that this man holds nothing sacred, man. He was willing to sell his birthright for one morsel of meat. This means he held not his birthright sacred. And that's the case to this very day. That's actually a characteristic of Esau, the so-called white man. Case in point, when you consider the trees, and it's well documented that the trees contribute to life by giving off oxygen. Well, guess what? In an act of undiscipline, this man pretty much cut down the trees at an alarming rate. You have what's known as deforestation, man. See? Proving that he holds nothing sacred. Not even life itself, man. See? But ultimately, this is highlighting the impatience of Esau. You know? This man being undisciplined and lacking the patience required to receive an inheritance. See? And what was the driving motivation? Him satisfying his belly, man. He was looking for fast food. And again, that's a characteristic of Esau, the so-called white man, which brings me to a little information I wanted to share, which I touched on this before, but it's, worthy to be brought out again. And for nothing else, the sake of edification, man. And again, for those of you who have eyes to see, to consider. All right? And the source is from Smart News, and it reads, recently uncovered thermopolium, which a thermopolium literally means a cook shop or a restaurant, see, reminds us that Romans, which translates to the so-called white man, loved fast food as much as we do. Why? Because you are the Romans, okay? And that proves that this current system in play is governed by the Romans, the so-called white man, which goes back to Esau, which we just read in the book of Genesis, the 25th chapter. This man, in a lack of patience, all right, that desire for instant satisfaction, sold his birthright for fast food. So you have microwaves, fast food restaurants, drive-thrus. Well, that's nothing more than an indictment against Esau, proving that this current system that we dwell in is governed by Esau, man, the so-called white man. This is one of the characteristics of Esau, to desire his food fast, due to his lack of patience, which when you go into the ancient world, it required patience to eat. You had to prepare the meal. You had to go out and slaughter whatever livestock, whatever meat. You had to prepare the corn and whatever sides. You had to knead the bread and, bake it. See? But here in this modern world, under Esau, see, the so-called white man. Well, you go into a thermopolium, and you come out with a brown paper bag, man. Instantly, you have microwaves. See that? That proves that Esau is in power. See? It says similar snack counters dug up throughout Pompeii, which was in Rome, were once destinations for on-the-go Romans, see, looking for a quick bite. See that? And that's what you see today. See? And again, these are the characteristics of Esau and things for us to consider. Alright? And it ties into biblical prophecy, pretty much placing this man at the scene of the crime. See? So just like the ancient Romans loved fast food, alright, you have that today with the so-called white man. That's a part of the makeup of America. You know, that's a fixture here in America, fast food restaurants. So it's no coincidence you had that in ancient Rome, which actually goes all the way back to Esau. And that story of him pretty much selling his birthright, compromising his birthright for fast food. See? It's the book of Ecclesiastes, the 10th chapter. And starting at the 13th verse, it says, the beginning of the words of his mouth is foolishness. Yeah, and what's the words of this man's mouth? Well, pretty much his laws and legislations. See? It says, and the end of his talk is mischievous madness. Yeah. What does the scripture mean when it says, in the end, which is concerning the time we're in now, of his talk is mischievous madness? Well, that would be concerning these draconian laws that's on the books, which is all set up in effort to wage war against the children of Israel. Case in point, when you consider this war on the Crown 19, well, who is the face of that enemy? It would be none other than the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, the children of Israel, proving that Esau has set his sights on you. He has waged war against you, and it's all driven by mischief. See, again, and the end of his talk, see, is mischievous madness. A fool also is full of words. A man cannot tell where shall be and where shall be after him. Who can tell him? Yeah, and this is across the board with Esau. From his media down to you dialoguing with this man. He pretty much talks in circles, man. You ask him a specific question and he sidestep it, proving that he's the devil. See? The labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them. Yeah, this man is weary in his wickedness, man. You know, in his feeble attempt to crown his enterprise a success in the form of establishing his new world order. See, that's his labor. See, again, the labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them, because he knoweth not how to go to the city. Woe to thee, O land, when thy king is a child. And this is concerning Esau, as it is written, children are our oppressors, man. This man bungee jump, skydive. See that? He holds nothing sacred. You know, we mentioned this man and his act of deforestation by cutting down the trees. See, this man has pretty much single-handedly destroyed the planet Earth. Alright? And everything in it, from the fowls of the air, the beasts of the field, you know, the sea life. That's under the watch of Esau. Why? Because he's a child. See, again, woe to thee, O land, America, Babylon the Great, when thy king is a child, and thy princes eat in the morning. See? And thy princes eat in the morning, which goes all the way back to Esau and his unwillingness to show forth patience, man. You know? And that desire for instant satisfaction. Well, that's on display right here in this current system. To eat in the morning means fast food pretty much, man. And again, you have fast food restaurants, microwaves. Is all set up as a reminder that Esau is in power. The so-called white man is ruling. See? And this is something for us to consider. This contributes to the unveiling of the devil and Satan that the Bible speaks of. See? Which brings me right here to the book of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. And the 3rd verse, it says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. What day? The great and notable Shah. See, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, which this prophecy was fulfilled in the form of Israel being brought over here to serve captive under the foot of our enemies. Our arch enemy and nemesis, the so-called white man, who pretty much beat our heritage out of us, man, thus fulfilling the prophecy spoken of in the book of Jeremiah, the 17th chapter and the 4th verse, where it tells you how we would discontinue from our heritage and pretty much fall from grace. See, again, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. See, and that man of sin be revealed. See, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. And again, what's contributing to the revealing, the unveiling of this man of sin? Well, obviously the prophecies, but also in a show of mercy, the Lord giving us tangible things to consider. You know, the very makeup of Esau. See, his characteristics, which is highlighted within the Holy Scriptures, which testifies that the so-called white man is none other than Esau. So yeah, I just wanted to touch on that, Lord willing. It was edifying. Till the next time I say shalom.